Greetings, freshly in from the garden. I thought I'd make a new video on request, following up on a Facebook post I did. Before I actually go into that, I'm sure you're all aware that we're not allowed, it's illegal to print our own money. Well, I disagree. It's already happening anyway. There's a game called Monopoly. Now it's very interesting. I pulled the rules of it up online. Now it says here, the Monopoly Bank. Besides the bank's money, the Monopoly Bank holds the title deeds, cards for houses and the houses and the hotels prior to purchase and use by the player. The bank pays salaries and incomes, it sells and auctions properties, and so on and so on. So basically, the entire game is already owned by the bank. So you don't actually own anything, because as soon as you get in financial difficulty when you're going around the board and you land on somebody else's piece, the dreaded Mayfair with a hotel at £2,000, and you haven't got enough cash, so you have to start selling things back to the bank. So they've already had the money for it, and now they're getting even more money for it, and they're getting the property back to resell. Now these little plastic green pieces that represent the houses and the little red pieces of plastic representing the hotels, are you not exchanging something for these pieces of paper? So you're already buying and selling using these bits of paper in the game. Now what happens if we start writing on bits of paper? It just so happens, where have they gone? Here we are. Here's some I made earlier. I don't know how clear they're going to show. And I just did Bank of Source, promise to pay the light bearer, and then various denominations between 1 and 6 billion. Funny, churches are or religions are denominations as well. So back to this Monopoly game. It says the bank never goes broke. If the bank runs out of Monopoly money, it may issue as much more as may be needed by merely writing on an ordinary piece of paper. Well, that's exactly what this World Bank does. There's nothing to back it up. There is nothing to back up those pieces of paper. They're going to be ideal for collection plates. As George Carling said, God loves money. So he can have a promissory note. So let's put this into a more of a day-to-day ideal now. I've grown potatoes, another person has tomatoes, but they're not ready at the same time. So what we do, you'll give a piece of paper over just as a reminder note. It doesn't matter what the number is that's written on it. It's an agreement between two people, and you can do this with anybody. And there's nothing anybody can do about it, to be honest. There's no exchange. You can still work within the system, and then we can start moving away from that system and creating our own. And we can then print our own money, because as Jon Levi said on one of his more recent videos, and I'll put the link in the description for this one, he says that we just need to change the laws that veto the public vote, because what's the point of voting if it doesn't mean a thing and the government can override it anyway? They're supposed to be there, elected by the people. So, but in the meantime, we can change that by exchanging these pieces of paper, because we give value to it when we accept it from each other and come to agreement with each other. It's a very simple system. So that's the way I've done it, and following up the request for the video. Thank you.